Oh my gosh! Oh. Whoa! It's almost time for another episode of the Shlicketty DooCast. Whoopity dinkity dinkly doodle. Jesus, you made it. Ah, you idiots! You made it back. Oh. Huh? Am I here alone? No, I'm not. I got Mike Anderson in the square. There he is. Run to the orb of truth, right. Mike. Run to the orb of truth.
There it is. You break it, you bought it?
Oh, boy. Shlicketty DooCast. God. Wow, we're doing better. I think we're doing all right. Seems to be a little warm in here today, but that's all right.
Does it feel a little warm to you?
Well, we got air conditioning, but we're in the, well, you can't say the word Indian summer anymore, so what's the new term? What do they call it now? Is it the, when it's hot in September? Lightning bug season?
Yeah, extended summer.
Ladybugs?
The dog days of summer, isn't it?
Well, dog days I always thought were kind of like, late August. Like, it's still hot, but it was pre-Labor Day. So now they're post-Labor Day.
Yeah.
Now
I definitely always thought of dog days as like, when it's like really hot, dogs just lay on the porch and just pant. Like, it's too hot to even move. We're just going to stay right here.
Yeah, we're just going to lay next to the rocking chair and we're not even going to swat the flies. We're just going to let them go.
Although I'll tell you this, not to talk about weather, but it did feel pretty humid today. Like my phone was saying like 4% humidity.
No, bullshit. It was a little clammy.
Yeah.
I was feeling it too. Because I can tell, I feel like a little clam, like, not that I get itchy, but I can feel like a little.
Yeah.
Ugh.
Yeah.
Like, and then I get a layer of slime on my face, like I start perspiring. But not full on sweating, just kind of like clamminess.
Well, yeah, that's the whole thing, because, you don't really know how much you sweat.
Yeah, I know. So, hey, well, we've been, once again, folks, thanks for tuning in. We've been getting people kind of listening. I mean, we haven't really gone super public here, but like and subscribe if you can.
Early adopters. There's early adopters out there. Those are the cool kids.
I mean, really, like and subscribe. You might, even if you don't watch it, if you just watch it once and said, those guys are idiots, but I'll do them a solid.
Yeah, you don't have to watch.
Yeah. And if you like us, maybe since I'm nosy like that, I might click over to yours and I might like yours. So a trade for a trade of a trade, or reach around, here we go. That's how the internet works. I don't know. But either way, I'll help you out, you help me out. I don't know, we're all in this together. But thanks for listening. People have been tuning in. Mike, I made a couple clips there from the past episode. And
people seem to be liking it. From what I'm hearing through the grapevine, they're watching.
They're watching, yeah. I haven't got any hate mail yet, so
right. Someone told me numbers are up.
That's right. Numbers are up. Yeah, I'm not going to say, wow, gangbusters.
Right, no. It doesn't look like it was like artificially inflated from a Indian click market farm.
Yeah, we haven't, there's no bots involved. It's organic.
The bots, yeah.
Yeah, it's organic growth, which is, our garden is moving a little slow, but that's okay. Maybe the xylem will mix with the phloem, and the phloem mix with the xylem.
2 points for xylem and phloem.
Yeah. Oh, man, what do you got, Mike?
What do I got?
Yeah. You got anything to lay on me before I lay stuff on you?
No, nothing much lately. Just, the usual obsessions, down the rabbit hole of,
Yeah, you've been left to your own devices for about a week here. The girlfriend's out of town, so I noticed
couple weeks.
Yeah, you're out. So you're in the old Mike Anderson rabbit hole, which I can predict is probably, let's see, you probably got a television show on the TV. You got a podcast
all the time.
Yeah. And then you got a podcast going in the ear, and then you're doing a mix down on the computer.
It's usually a YouTube something.
Yeah.
Going in the headphones. Or like the earbud headphones. And then the overtop headphones are the mixing headphones.
Yeah. You see, guys, if you don't know Mike yet, you will know him, but keep listening, you'll know he's a sponge of information.
Yeah.
That's why input results in output. Let it be known. So he's always had a thirsty brain. He was reading that Aztec book when we were teenagers. I'm like, dude, that book is.
My parents were avid readers, and so when you got me that job working in the parking garage.
Oh yeah, you're a parking garage attendant.
For a couple of years because it was boring as hell. But so I would literally go raid my parents' stock of paperback books.
Yeah.
And I remembered from when I was a kid, like I saw one time my dad had Stephen King books under the bed, and that was the only name I knew. And so it was like there was a book he did with like Peter Straub, like they each wrote a couple short stories or something like that, Talisman or something like that.
Oh, Talisman was big.
There was like different seasons. Remember the one that were like 4 short stories? One of them was The Body that became the movie Stand By Me. Stuff like that. Some early Stephen King stuff. And so I would go before work under the bed and grab books. And yeah,
makes sense.
I stumbled across that Aztec book.
Yeah, you always were a reader. You're always reading. Yeah, when we used to have sleepovers when we were teenagers, I remember like there was always like a complete season in the bathroom of what's the yellow National Geographic, or there'd be like, there's like a whole season of Reader's Digest.
Yeah, that show's so weird. Like when you're a kid, you're like, Reader's Digest. What are we talking about here?
Yeah, I'd immediately go to the back, go, all right, what do they got for Family Circus for comics? I gotta sit through Family Circus? This isn't even funny.
No, it was less pictures and more words, They'd have funny little articles and jokes. And
yeah, my grandfather was an avid reader of that. And he would always like, we're driving in the car. And Grandpa would be like, I was in the Reader's Digest and they're talking about, and he'd be like, yeah, the locusts are coming back, and he'd have some story about, UFOs or locusts or some guy who ate his shoe. It's just random stuff. It'd be like almost like something Paul Harvey would gravitate towards.
It sounds like a 3-hour Paul Harvey, show.
Right.
Like broken down into like these chunks. There's like a whimsical, folksy humor section. There's almost like a knock-knock joke section. Didn't they have a thing where they'd pay you like $300 if you send in some sort of joke and they like it and they use it?
That sounds familiar.
I think it was like a long-standing thing that they had for like.
Yeah, that sounds familiar. I remember thinking I was going to enter like they had an essay. I remember thinking like, they had a grade up till grade 5 essay. It was like grade 3 through 5. And I was like, I remember being like in 5th grade thinking like, all right, I'm going to put in one of my essays. But I don't think I ever got around to sending it. But
no, that was always the thing.
Yeah, but it was, and it was like, you could win a trip to like Orlando, Florida. Be like, that's where Disney's at. They didn't mention Disney. It was just they'll just get you to Orlando.
Well, dude,
in 1975, getting you to Orlando was kind of a big deal.
I mean, there was nothing in Orlando before Disney.
No.
It was mostly a swamp, wasn't it? That's my understanding.
Yeah, and
I could be wrong. Don't fucking hang me, Orlando. Settle down.
There wasn't really much there, I don't think. I mean, who knows now?
It might have been a small town, and he took this big fucking swampy section.
Oh, I went. My parents took. My brother and I went in the '70s, probably '78. I was about 9. We went to Disney, but we went to Disney for 3 days.
Was that before Epcot?
They were building Epcot.
Okay. Yeah.
So the globe was half built.
I went when Epcot first opened.
Yeah, we went back after that.
Over there in Epcot, there was only like 3 fucking things to do.
Yeah, it was pretty small. Pretty small. We did it in a day and a half, almost 2 days. They're building Epcot. We were reading all about it. They're handing us pamphlets. And then we went to this place, which was crazy. Back then, we went to this place called River Country. And it was like an old wooden frontier water park. And it was like built, things were like giant Lincoln logs.
In Orlando?
Yes. And it was on a lake. And I don't know how far away from Disney it was. I mean, back in that day, I felt like we were close to it, but River Country. And it was like weird water park and definitely ghetto, but packed to the gild. I remember like my brother and I, here's a little story. My brother and I were like in this little area, like they have the little pond, and it's like a little cement pond with a little fountain shooting out.
Sure.
So we start getting surrounded, and we're hearing, and all these kids about our age, My brother's 3 years older than me, so he's about like 8th grade. I'm like 5th grade. So we're getting surrounded by these kids, and we're like, what? And I'm petrified, like, what's going on, Chris? What are you doing? And Chris had a Yankees hat on and a Yankees jersey on, and they're all surrounding us going, "Come on, Yankee, let's go, Yankee!" And they kept, and he lit. Now, keep in mind, this is 1970 something, you know, maybe 78 tops, maybe 80, I don't know, but they surrounded him, and I kind of creeped out of there, like, and my brother was like, he was ready to fight these kids, but they hated us because he was wearing a Yankees hat. Can you imagine that? Yankee. We were being called Yankees.
Yeah.
And they were all these Southern kids, you know, and they were like, "Oh, who are you, boy? What are you doing down here, boy?"
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, but they were white. It wasn't like, you know, it wasn't a color thing. It was more, it was literally, we were going to get beat up for wearing Yankees paraphernalia. Weird.
Yeah. It's definitely shit functioning on a symbolic level that if you're not aware of.
Yeah, and we were clueless. We just thought, we like the Yankees. Chris liked the Yankees. Who cares?
Yeah.
Yeah, dumb.
Yeah, you don't even think about it, especially up here where we're from, because it's all the Northeast up here, you know.
Yeah, and I
all
wouldn't
the
think
Northeast corridor.
a sports team would draw such ire, especially among children.
Oh, well, you know.
And baseball at that. I mean, football maybe, but baseball.
So the Yankees kind of have a thing. I mean, you know, they're like the most winningest team in fucking baseball and all that.
And in the 70s, they're the Yankees, like the Reggie Jackson era.
Yeah.
The Yankees were like winning.
But they were also winning in 1927 with Babe Ruth. You know what I mean?
Sure,
and they were also winning in the 40s when they were playing the Brooklyn Dodgers. And, you know, so.
Yeah. I don't know why these Florida rednecks were going to beat us up.
Well, there's a lot of people that just don't like the Yankees because the Yankees are always like, you know, they're always winning, so they get mad.
Yeah.
You know?
Or maybe it's like a New York thing. You city slickers.
Well, then there's the thing like, people down south they don't like people from the north, and so they call them Yankees derogatorily.
Yeah,
so
I was
if you
getting
come
Civil
down
War
there
vibes.
fly in the Yankee colors.
Yeah. In
almost
my
like
head,
just
my
asking
dumb
for
head,
it.
I was thinking like Civil War vibes. I was like, oh, is this a Yankees and the Confederate thing?
It is. That's what they called the Northern Army, was the Yankees.
Yeah.
So I mean, and they were the rebels.
Right.
The rebels and the Yankees.
Yeah.
I mean, so coming down there basically flying the colors.
Yeah.
It's like a challenge. You know?
Yeah.
But you're unaware of it. You're just wearing it because, you know, it's popular.
It's 100 degrees
Seen
in
it on
Florida.
TV, you know.
Yeah, we're at river country. Yeah, redneck part of Florida. Not even Disney. It's the first time I saw like minnows in the water. Like you'd step in the sand and there'd be minnows all over this clear water, you know. Really nice. Really cool.
Yeah. Well, I mean, isn't there a place right around Orlando called Clearwater?
Hence the name.
I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe that's over in Tampa.
I don't know.
Who knows?
Florida people are all like, these guys are idiots. They're Yankees. Get them out of here. Send them back to the old Yankee Stadium.
Yeah, and that's fine.
Beat the Mets.
It's fine. To each their own.
All right, what else you got?
You know, just the usual. I mean.
Yeah, so you've been hanging out all by yourself all week for a couple weeks here, yeah?
Yeah.
Yeah, getting lost in the rabbit hole, the technology rabbit hole?
No, I'm trying not to, but I'm also, you know, I feel like I'm not getting enough sleep, you know? I'm normally a night owl, so, you know, like I get sucked into just, you know, sitting there watching shit or whatever.
Yeah, I guess having the girlfriend there keeps you sticking to a theme. But when you don't have a girlfriend there to go, I don't want to watch that. Like I've been known, like if you leave the remote in my power without her objecting to anything, I can end up surfing and circling and surfing and circling into weird rabbit holes, you know?
Yeah, and that's why, like, I'll run stuff like, you know, It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia or Sopranos on the TV. You know, I watch this shit on the YouTube. I mean, I got like, you know, like over 100 fucking tabs open on my iPad.
Oh yeah, open tabs.
Yeah, I mean, it's on a myriad of topics and stuff, you know? Some shit like, I want to watch it, but I need the brain space to be able to sit down and watch.
Sure.
You know, like production videos and that sort of stuff. You know?
Oh yeah, the learning curve. Yeah.
Like I wanted to sit down the other day and like look at fucking making the drums sound the way I want them to. How you know, how quickly and easily can I get the drums where I want them to be sounding? You know, what's the shortest path to that? I know what I want and I can get it there. Sometimes it takes a lot of tweaking and nudging. I don't want to. I just want to be able to like know that, you know, I don't want to go down the rabbit hole, but you know, we could talk about, you know, snare sample sets and whatnot.
I know. It's one thing we talk about musical things, and then you and I go into a sub avenue of, we'll talk about instruments, people. Now we're losing people. Then we'll talk about making songs. That's losing people. Then we'll talk about mixing drums on a recording console. Everyone's like, okay, I'm out. All right. I know. We forget that what we are into is kind of a niche market.
Like usually, sometimes I just toss a grenade in the room right off the bat, so people don't suffer, and I go, "Let's talk compression ratios."
Yeah.
They're out.
Compression ratios. Jesus, these guys stink.
Yeah. So you know, I got a lot of that, and like you say, without the girlfriend there's no one stopping me from sitting there for 6 hours playing No Man's Sky on the PlayStation 4.
Yeah. You play No Man's Sky? Is that the game you played?
Do you know what it is?
No.
Oh, it's like a 10-year-old game. It started off as a very basic sort of like space exploration game, but it's been built on for the last 10 years. It's pretty extensive at this point.
It's a world in a world.
There's actually like 900 galaxies in this. No, there's 900 like solar systems in this one galaxy, and then you can go to the galactic core and take a black hole. You can go to a different galaxy. There's 900 other, you know, systems, and the systems have, you know, somewhere between 3 and 5 like planets, and then there's moons, and yeah.
Wow.
Well, and then you go on these planets and you're gathering resources like carbon and uranium and, you know, oxygen and iron.
Yeah.
And then you take those and you put them in a combiner and you make those into more advanced things, and you get, you know,
kind of like
spaceships.
Spaceship version of Sims and Farmland.
Yeah, but on
on a way more higher level.
I mean, it's a pretty basic game in the gameplay and everything, but like, there's definitely levels to it. I'm like level 1, where we're just doing like basic, like, you know, ferrite and oxygen and sodium, and, you know, and then you turn the, you know, the carbon into like condensed carbon, you know, and you turn the ferrite into like magnetized ferrite, you know, and that sort of stuff.
Wow.
But that's like first level. Then apparently there's these other levels where then you're mixing like, you know, third level polymer compound shit together, you know, like synthetically bonded stuff, and
wow, and building technology and stuff, and you're
apparently you can kind of see it in the guides. They're like blank spaces and stuff, or if you like, sometimes you got to go online and you got to kind of read about something.
Yeah,
because like you get these spaceships. If you find a freighter, then you can set up a base in the freighter, so you don't have to put a base on a planet. You can have your base on a freighter.
Holy nerd!
And you build out the freighter with like these modules to do different things.
Wow.
Like
it sounds fun. I totally love it, but I got to stay away from video games.
It's a time suck. It's a huge time suck. And so that's why, like, when I say I want to try and be productive, means I don't want to just sit there and time suck on No Man's Sky.
Yeah.
Like, I need to try and be productive. I need to get my guitar tone straight. I need to fucking relay some guitar tracks for this one song. I need to look into fucking using the sampler in Logic. I've never fucked around with the sampler in Logic. Need to be able to do it so I can take a sound, record a sound. Were we talking about this?
Not the sampler part in Logic.
No, I think me and Hopkins were. Being able to like record a sound. Like he wanted like dungeon torture sounds for like sound effects.
Okay.
So I was like, all right, so if we take like a ratchet, you know what I mean? Like a ratchet socket wrench. You know that ratchety sound? Record it, load it into the sampler. Then the sampler will assign it across the keyboard. So then you can, you know, jump down 3 octaves, and that ends up being, you know, it sounds like, you know,
pitch it.
medieval torture device with it. Yeah, I've never really messed around with that sort of shit.
Yeah.
You know, so I'm like, I gotta look at that.
I kind of have, but
So that's what I do. So being productive would be me sitting there for 2 or 3 hours.
Yeah. Do you want to go? Yeah.
Watching videos, figuring out how that works.
Yeah, some galactic place looking for uranium on a virtual game,
which uranium's great because that gives you the fuel to take off in there.
But yeah, it's not going to get you any closer to a good drum sound.
It's a time suck, and it's a good thing to do if I do a bunch of work. You know, because you know I'm working like after work in a full-time regular job, but you know, so if I can get like 2-3 hours of good solid work in, that's good. If I got an hour left over, and I fucking go on No Man's Sky, just fuck off and chill out for,
Sure.
you know.
Yeah,
Until I start falling
I
asleep.
love the idea of video games, but I know it's an unnecessary addiction. I cannot partake. I cannot take it on because I know I'll love it. I remember way back in the night, PlayStation or Sega Tomb Raider, you know, solving that. That was the last game I ever fucked with. Since then, I have not touched video games. I mean, the occasional here and there, you know, but no, I don't. I can't do it because I know I get involved. I love it, and it's, you know, I'll be in.
It's definitely sort of addictive in a certain way. Like, the thing that gets me is the sort of creativity in it. Like, there was this other game that Hopkins turned me on to that he's been playing for years. It's an older game. It's been out for like 10 years called 7 Days to Die. Okay. And it's sort of a zombie survival game.
That sounds cool.
So, and it has like a ticking clock in the game, you know, and you can set how long an hour is, how long a day is. But at the end of, so daytime, there's zombies out. At nighttime, there's more zombies out, and they start running at you. Mm. Every 7 days, zombie horde attack. And so then every week, when it comes around to that multiple of 7 again, 14th day, 21st day, 28th day, it's double what it was last time.
Wow.
So by the time you're like 35 days in or 49 days in, that's a pretty massive zombie attack, and you better be ready.
Right. So you got to get your supplies. You got to build your house. You got to build your walls.
Yep. Shore it up.
Yeah.
I like to make kill traps. You know.
Yeah.
Stuff like that. You know. But it's the creativity that, and so I think. So I found a spot in the game with a really high cliff. So if I go in there, I'm going to go in there and just make a big booby trap. The zombies come in, they just climb up the thing, and then they just fall. I'll put spikes at the bottom, and
that's all you can do. Make a moat.
Because you can literally just see what happens.
Yeah.
So at one point, I buy this hospital. I'm in this little house across the street from the hospital. I built a little base over there in the house. Sometimes I want to go to the hospital. There's tons of stuff in the hospital as far as supplies and stuff. But I don't want to walk from here to the hospital through the parking lot. It's kind of far, and the zombies are going to get me and shit.
Why don't you just live in the hospital?
Because there's too many entrances.
Oh.
I did it one time. I made the hospital my base. It's hard to hold on to. There's a lot of corridors, a lot of windows.
Oh, I see.
But yeah, I could probably do it now because I'm a little. That was like the first time I played the game or something like that.
It's really time. It could be like Walking Dead. I could see it, you know.
Yeah, exactly. It's very Walking Dead-ish. But so I had the idea. I'm like, what if I just started digging down, and then, because when you dig or something like that, it'll knock out this like 1 meter square chunk of, you know, digital mass, right?
Okay.
So I was like, it's about 3 feet high or something. So I figured, you know, 2 of those blocks is 6 feet high. So it'd be like 3 feet, 6 feet. So I would go down like 25 feet.
Sure.
And then start tunneling straight.
Uh-huh.
And so then I would flip on the map, and it'll show where I'm at, and I can see where the house was and see where the hospital is. And then if I keep it in a straight line, you know, then I come up underneath the hospital. Then I come back up. Just built a tunnel. Because it was just like, what if, can I do this?
Yeah, build a tunnel up to that, so you don't got to deal with it. Yeah, that's how you'd probably do it in the real world, or go through the sewers.
Yeah, it's that sort of just creativity, like, hey, what happens if I do this? That really, like, sucks me into these sort of games and stuff like that.
Huh.
Just that open-ended creativity. That's pretty engaging to me.
That sounds cool.
Anyway.
Yeah, what else we got?
But anyway, that's why I'm just doing the normal, regular stuff. That's my regular stuff. I'm always watching shit, trying to learn shit, figure shit out.
Yeah.
So,
always
it's
learning.
not exciting, but...
Right. Nothing wrong with that. Yeah, I was gonna run this concept by you again. Now, you've heard other people talk about it. We've talked about it before. Now, and you've mentioned it before. I'm the king of the Mandela effect.
Oh, the Mandela effect.
It's happened to me 1,000 times. Like I think because my brain has a way of fictionalizing things and making things a little more cartoonized.
Well, that's the thing. Memory is oddly fallible.
Right. I'd make a horrible character witness, you know.
Not character witness.
Yeah.
Character witness is saying he's a good guy.
Yeah, it'd be like, did he have a mustache? Yeah, he had a curly Q mustache. Yeah.
In fact, now that you mention it,
Yeah, and he had a top hat.
Oh,
Yeah, and he was riding a wolf. Yeah. No, so I wrote some down, but I found it, so I had to do this. Now, now there's probably people out there who know all about the Mandela effect. We know this. Now, if you haven't, sit on back, kids, because we got a little lesson for you.
Yeah, because I heard there's a Mandela effect movie coming.
Oh, is there?
I don't know. There may be.
Is it about Mandela?
No.
Did you know the concept of the Mandela effect? The title of it, it was all kicked off when this blogger in the 1980s, Fiona Broomy, detailed her recollection of Nelson Mandela, and she believed that Nelson Mandela died in prison in the 80s. Say what? Of course, we know that didn't happen, but false memories are powerful, even if they're false.
Right.
So then they coined the term the Mandela effect from this blogger.
It's a misremembrance.
A misremembrance, yes. Officially, it's popularized phenomenon in which a group of people collectively misremember facts, events, and details in a consistent manner.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, here's one. You got some over there too. I think you wrote a few down.
Wait, can I say this before you start?
Okay.
I feel like the Mandela effect, because I've looked at this sort of stuff too.
Okay.
I wonder if we could break these Mandela effects down into like a couple of general sort of categorizations. I feel like there's different types of Mandela effects.
Well, there's the song lyric version. That's pretty common.
Yeah, that's like mishearing it.
Yeah, but that's okay. And then there's did they really say that? Like, oh, did Ben Franklin really say a penny saved is a penny earned? You know, when he could have said, when really and factually it could have been like, a pence to be pocketed is worth a pence in the asshole.
So like misquotations and
right.
stuff like that.
Yeah.
And then also the one that I kind of find fascinating is the misremembering of the spellings of things. The Berenstain Bears.
The Berenstain Bears was on the list.
Yeah. And what's the other big one? There's one about the peanut butter.
That was the first one I was gonna. Well, no, okay. Oh,
people
well.
remember a Jiffy peanut butter.
That's it. I was about to go into that one.
Oh, okay. All right.
All right.
Yeah,
well, that's when I was.
That's what I'm saying. I feel like there's silos here where it's like there's the sort of like. You know, and they're always like brand names or shit like that.
A lot of brand names. A lot of brand names.
But it's like a word thing.
Yes.
You know, there's like hearing it wrong. You know.
Yeah, you misremember. Here's a common misremembrance. Okay, Jiffy peanut butter sandwich. Your childhood may be a lie. While both there was Skippy, and there was the peanut butter named Jif,
and there was Jiffy popcorn,
and there's Jiffy Pop popcorn. Right. And these brands have lined store shelves, but there's never been a Jiffy brand peanut butter.
No,
it's just Jif.
Yeah.
Right.
Yep. That's just people like misremembering, conflating a couple of things.
You're right. And your brain turns Jif into Skippy and Skippy into Jif, and then there you go. Go to the store and get me some Jiffy.
Yeah.
Yeah. So there's that. All right. Here's another one. Here's close to this, because this ties into this one. Remember the Monopoly guy?
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, sort of, yeah.
Uncle Pennybags was his name, I guess.
Right.
Yeah, Pennybags. He has been the mascot for Monopoly, the board game. Monopoly, the board game. Mm-hmm. Now, some insist that Mr. Pennybags has a top hat and business attire with a monocle. But guess what? That's not true. He doesn't. He's never worn a monocle. Mr. Pennybags have been conflating this depiction of him, and they're basically, people's brains are mixing it with Mr. Peanut, the Planters mascot.
He definitely had the monocle.
And the top hat.
Yeah.
And he had the cane.
Yeah.
But rich Uncle Pennybags
because he was a fancy
did
peanut.
Not.
Because he was a fancy peanut.
Yes. Rich Uncle Pennybags did not have a monocle. And I don't know, did he have the top hat? Or is it a bowler's hat?
You know, I honestly never really played Monopoly much.
Oh, really?
So I don't quite know.
I've flipped many a Monopoly board. In anger.
Well, yeah, not for joy.
Oh, the next one on the list, your turn. Read that one on your list. The one, yeah.
So the rich Uncle Pennybag, Jiffy.
What do you got?
Oh, is this the Clarice Starling one?
Yeah.
Okay. Anthony Hopkins and FBI agent Clarice Starling, Jodie Foster, fueled 1991's The Silence of the Lambs, based on Thomas Harris's novel. Hello, Clarice has become a default line reading for people looking to emulate Hopkins' creepy Lecter.
Hello,
But
Clarice.
the killer never says the line in the movie. Okay, so this is another category, is the movie lines.
Right.
Instead, he says good morning when meeting Starling for the first time.
So so everyone goes, hello, Clarice.
Right. So this is definitely a whole silo. For me, this is a huge, easy one to see how to definitely debunk these sort of things.
Yes.
So this is what I call nuggetizing,
Yeah.
a pop culture reference so that it is portable and self-contained. The greatest example of this is Beam Me Up Scotty.
That's down your list. Farther down your list
it?
is the
Okay.
Beam Me Up. We'll get to that one.
I did not read ahead.
Yeah.
Because I like a surprise. Good surprises, not bad surprises.
Yeah, I tried to save you the ones that are the... mine are more product ones, but I saved you some of the more movie ones.
Yeah. So here's the nuggetization thing. We're getting the quote from the movie or the TV or the commercial or whatever it is,
Right.
which is relevant to its context. But in order for it to be relevant just in the big old wide world, you got to sort of nuggetize it, right?
Nuggetize. Is that your own word?
Yeah.
All right. Nuggetize.
So-
Word of the day.
So it's like, in the old Star Trek, they always said beam me up
Yeah.
or energize. They never said beam me up Scotty in that context. But if you say beam me up, people might know what you're talking about. But if you say beam me up Scotty, everyone knows you're talking about Star Trek.
All right.
In the same vein, the other big famous one is the Darth Vader Luke Skywalker scene at the end of Empire Strikes Back.
That's on your list, too.
Spoiler alert. If you guys haven't seen it, leave now. All right. Then come back in like 30 seconds. All right. So in the movie, he says, "You killed my father." No, Luke. No.
No, it's
I
in there.
am
It's
your
on their
father."
list.
Yeah, he just says, "No, I am your father." But once again, that really doesn't give you a frame of reference as just when you just use it as a pop culture reference, unless you go, "Luke, I am your father."
Right. Right.
Once you throw the Luke
But
in
he
there,
never-
we know Skywalker. Now we know it's Star Wars, right?
Yeah, it's nuggetized. It's condensed. Yeah.
It's almost like you're making a zip file of everything, all the assets you need for a project.
Yeah.
It's like, but it sort of puts the little handle on the cultural relevance to it.
Now, if you look at your page one there, look
Mm-hmm.
at your one at the bottom there, I asterisked for you. This ties into the Star Wars thing too.
Okay,
Read
so-
this one. This is a good one.
Protocol droid C-3PO,
Okay.
as having a gold-plated chassis, right? And he does. Okay. With one notable exception. The lower portion of his right leg below his knee was silver when we first saw him. A fact that sometimes surprises people who have seen the original trilogy dozens of times. People trying to reconstruct an event are taking whatever information they can, which can mean glossing over things or making inferences. Brewster says, whoever that is, unless you stared at the droid's leg, you probably just assumed he was the same color all over. Okay.
Did you know that? Did you know C-3PO had a silver leg?
Yeah. First time I saw him.
I didn't know that at all.
Yeah. First time I saw him, I noticed it. And I noticed that the first incarnation of the action figures, because my dad brought them home to us from when he went on, he was a training instructor, so he'd always travel.
Were the action figure, did the original C-3PO have a silver leg?
No.
Oh.
And
that's probably why I was thrown off, because I
That's-
had the original toy.
And I think that's why I noticed it. Because then we had it was like a puzzle or something like that. And it was a photo of R2-D2 and C-3PO on Tatooine. Easy.
Fresca.
Is that around anymore? You know what?
know.
Speaking of that, speaking of soda shenanigans.
Okay.
So there's that new lemon lime soda, Starry or something like that.
Yeah, it's just Sprite.
No, I heard it's mellow yellow.
Oh, is it mellow yellow? I don't know. Lime, lemon. I haven't tried it.
I haven't tried it either. I
thought
wanted
it was
to try
Sprite. Because you don't see Sprite anymore, do you?
it. Did they take away Sprite?
I don't know.
I thought Sprite was a pretty good name. You hardly ever see 7-Up.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know what they're doing there.
I think the 7-Up's only getting by because of the 7 and 7 drink.
We'll get to the bottom of that one. Yeah, that's for next step. We're going to get to the bottom of the story thing. We'll do a taste test.
So the C-3PO thing, yeah, I noticed that when I was a fucking kid. I remember that when I was a kid.
No, I didn't.
Because we had the action figure like before. I didn't even know what the movie was.
Yeah. I remember
brought home
getting
these
action figures before I saw the movie.
Yeah, and it was like, because your dad traveled too. Your dad was traveling. He was a buyer.
Yeah.
He was going to New York City and stuff. Yeah. My dad brought the figures home, and me and my brother were like...
Yeah, Return of the Jedi figures. No, not so much the Star Wars one. The Return of the Jedi figures, yes.
Oh, really? Yeah.
So I got like a Tauntaun and shit, and I was like, what the hell is this?
My dad blew my mind when he brought home Micronauts.
Oh, yeah.
I was like, what is this?
Wow.
Yeah. This is
Micronauts.
nuts. Yeah.
All right. Well, here's another one. I'll go quick on this one. We all know that. Now, speaking of logos, the Fruit of the Loom logo. Did you know that everyone assumes the Fruit of the Loom logo has the cornucopia in it?
Yeah. The Horn of Plenty. Yeah.
Horn of Plenty. But guess what? It doesn't.
And I've seen
It's just a pile of fruit.
I've seen some people on internet throw up a photo that does show the cornucopia.
Yeah, I wonder if somebody added it later. I don't know.
Yeah, that one's sort of questionable. You know, another one is sort of questionable as well. Is the Kennedy assassination car.
Okay.
The Lincoln.
Okay.
Because the thing is, if you watch the film, the Zapruder film, because people, it's a 1963 Lincoln, I don't know, call it the presidential or something. Anyway, the back doors open up the opposite way, right? So they open towards the front.
Suicide doors.
Yep, suicide doors.
Yeah.
But people don't remember that the one that Kennedy was in was actually a special one that had 2 rows of back seats. Because Kennedy and Jackie are in the back row, but then Governor Connolly and his wife are seated in front of them. And then there's the driver and the Secret Service guy.
All right. So they didn't have the suicide doors because it was kind of like a limousine.
They did have the suicide doors. And I don't know if they were like little jump seats that folded down, but it was a little bit of a stretch job. Yeah. So there were 3 rows of seats.
It was like a convertible limousine, essentially.
Yeah. But people always get confused with that, and they always like you can go to Kennedy museums and historical stuff, and people will tell you that there's only front and back seat.
Yeah.
And maybe it is, like I said, they could be little jump seats that fold down. I don't know.
Yeah.
So. But anyway, that's definitely a thing too. But when you said fruit, I thought you were going to go a different direction.
What?
I thought you were going to go back to the spelling of things. Fruit Loops.
Oh, that's O-O-T, F-R-O-O-T. It's not F-R-U-I-T, like fruit root.
Yeah.
Or fruit stripe.
Yeah, it's fruit with like double O's.
Yeah, no. But I know what you're talking about.
Right?
All right, here's another one. Here's a movie one. I'll throw you out there. Now I got to go back to this one. I got a little backstory. The Risky Business. Remember the Risky Business? Remember the Tom Cruise?
Rebecca De Mornay.
Yeah. That was actually my first R-rated movie I saw in the theater with my dad. My dad took me to see Risky Business. And then I remember sitting next to my dad in that awkward moment, and I'm looking at the big screen, and man, I was in love with Rebecca De Mornay back in the day, right? And I just remember she had great boobies, and I was watching this and I was super uncomfortable, and there's nudity, and I was like, I was bursting at the seams. I love Rebecca De Mornay. She was my childhood crush. But I remember the movie real well. So then I got to thinking about this part. And here's the Mandela effect. Okay, now, you remember when Tom Cruise does the old, to the Bob Seger song, he comes out dancing.
Off the shelf?
Yeah, and he's dancing around in his gotchis. He's got the ping, he flips his collar up, does his thing.
Himself?
Yeah, he's wearing the Ray-Bans apparently, and no one's home. Your brain got it right. But if you watch the now iconic scene, you may be surprised to see, guess what? He's not wearing Ray-Ban sunglasses. You might remember, everyone thinks, and when people do I've seen people do the Halloween costume of that, and they always add the Ray-Bans, and you go, okay, I guess he did. But when you watch the movie, he's not wearing sunglasses in that scene. So that says seeing Cruise in the shades in other scenes or in the film's advertising material is false.
If I remember it correctly, he has the shades when he slides in from, the left side of the screen. He slides in, he's got the shades, and then he goes, take those old records off the shelf, and he throws the sunglasses and starts dancing.
That says you may be surprised that Cruz isn't wearing shades. That's just what it says. I don't know. We're going to have to watch it. I might have to watch it because I want Rebecca De Mornay. I want to see her in that gray sweater. I remember the gray sweater scene. I'm going back to it, but I'll fast forward it and I'll try to find that and I'll let you know.
Wasn't it pretty steamy when they were banging in the subway train? Wasn't that the thing?
I don't know. I just remember I was young and it was my first R movie and it was uncomfortable because I was sitting with my dad and I was totally into it and But yeah, that was weird. All right. What else well, you got a couple there. I got pick one from the list there. Well, you started going into the Shatner one, the James Doohan Beat Me Up Scotty.
Oh yeah, the Beat Me Up Scotty.
Yeah, okay, we touched on that.
What are some of the other? I'm just trying to remember off the top.
Oh, that's a good one right there. Well, the one above the Beat Me Up Scotty. Look at that one. Read that one. I thought this was kind of a mind blower.
I didn't even see the Beat Me Up Scotty one. Where is it?
It's right in the middle of the page. I put an asterisk next to the ones you're going to do. Page 2.
Page 2. Children's book character?
Yeah.
Okay. The inquisitive children's book character created by H.A. and Margaret Ray in 1939 and proceeded to have a number of adventures in print and on television. But Curious George should reserve his concern for his own anatomy. Despite what many readers may remember, he's never depicted with a tail, which is typically a hallmark of monkeys.
So did Curious George have a tail?
Not if he was... Oh, wait, hang on. My camera went all out of focus.
What's happening?
My camera went all out of focus, and I don't know why.
Uh-oh, do we have to stop for technical difficulties? We got to stop. Well, Mike's going to go in there. All right, while Mike's figuring out his scene there, I got one more for you for my pile. And get this. Well, this is a good one, I always thought. All right, well, we all know the iconic Born in the USA, Bruce Springsteen. We all knew the Springsteens. We know that guy, the Born in the USA. Remember him on the cover there.
Wait. Let me just finish up real quick. If Curious George is a chimpanzee, he doesn't have a tail.
Well, yeah, chimps don't.
My band was called Primate Picnic, so there's 5 apes. There's 5 apes. You know, it's like chimpanzees, baboons, orangutans, bonobos, and I forget what the 5th one is.
But Curious George was more like the Dora the Explorer.
Monkeys have tails.
Yeah.
I always thought Curious George was a chimpanzee, so he would not have a tail. Makes sense.
Oh, I never thought of him as a chimp.
Monkeys have tails.
I thought of him as more a chimp, or more like a monkey, kind of like the Dora the Explorer monkey, that guy.
Right, those are like those little like macaques, or you know what I mean, like the one
yeah,
that
just
Ross
your
had on
atypical.
Friends.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I don't know.
Those capuchin monkeys.
Is that what they're called?
Yeah, the ones like Ross had on Friends, and then it's also in that Night at the Museum movie.
Right.
That's a capuchin monkey. Yeah, that's a typical monkey with the tail. You know what I mean?
Weren't the Bloodhound Gang monkeys?
Wait, the band? The guys that set the roof on fire and they're going to burn?
Okay. Yeah,
those guys.
All right.
So that's the my chimpanzee thing.
All right, that's pretty good. That's pretty good. Pretty good.
So I got Beat Me Up Scotty. Let's see here. This one. Oh, okay. This one always I'm not 100% sure about, but this one might be kind of a weird thing. The most startling example of the Mandela effect is the widespread belief that an entire feature film exists titled Shazam, or Shazam, with a couple A's at the end, starring actor and comedian Sinbad as a genie.
Okay, let's stop this presses there. You can picture a movie of that. Sinbad's the genie. I mean, gosh, you can almost picture it. You can see him going, yeah.
I picture, standard living room, sun's coming from here, the kid over here towards the door, Sinbad's here, wearing sort of dark red, rust-colored, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Flowy Sultan MC Hammer pants, purple fucking shoes with a little fucking tassel curl toes.
Low budget.
The top is it's like the typical Seinfeld pirate shirt. It's like a cream color.
That's how you're picturing it, huh?
Vest, and then he's got a turban, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Thing. And he's like this and smiling, and that's what I'm picturing.
The Sinbad smile, yeah, well, that infectious smile. We all like the Sinbad. Everyone likes the Sinbad, right? He's a good guy.
But yet they say
what people are recollecting is probably...
Oh, there we go. So what people are recollecting is probably Kazam, a 1996 comedy starring NBA great Shaquille O'Neal as a wish-granting mystical figure. Nice definition.
So where are our brains getting Sinbad? And this is probably where the confusion comes from, the fact that Sinbad was in some children's films in the 90s. I don't know.
But he was in First Kid, which that's where he's a Secret Service agent protecting the fucking president's son.
Right, but they think it's reportedly had a preview for Kazam on the VHS release, which could have strengthened the tendency to reconstruct the actors starring in Shazam, as you know what I mean, other than Shaq. This one is so convincing. Somebody said they even caught themselves remembering it, huh?
Yeah, I don't know who Brewer is, but like I said, I agree with that, because this one, like I said, I can sort of picture it.
Yeah.
Now, I don't know if it was like a gag on like Simpsons or Family Guy, or, you know, they had an episode on It's Always Sunny where Dennis tries to go into rehab and then it ends up being like a mental institution, like Sinbad and Rob Thomas from Matchbox 20 are harassing him.
It could be.
Like shaking him down.
Yeah.
You know.
I don't know. Yeah, Sinbad, it's an odd one because he was huge in the 90s, but the 90s are kind of a blur for me. I don't remember.
Yeah,
movies.
I mean, like I said, I do have that sort of image in my mind. And I remember Kazam. Kazam was the Shaquille O'Neal one.
Yeah. Which I did not see it, but I know what it was. Yeah, it was cool.
Yeah, because I feel like the Kazam one, you know, it's Shaquille O'Neal, so it's got to be big and huge and over the top or whatever. But I feel like the Sinbad one was more almost like it was like one of those like Honey, I Shrunk the Kid movies where they just built the living room set. You know what I mean? And it basically mostly took place there at the house, you know what I mean? It's probably like Phil Hartman was the dad or something like that.
I can see it, yeah.
Like Phil Hartman, Sinbad in
Shazam,
yeah. Or whatever.
Yeah, and some child actor that we don't know about now.
Or honestly, the whole movie could exist just under a different name. And this whole thing is hinged on the fact that people think it was Shazam. Yeah. Maybe it wasn't called Shazam. It was called Alakazam. Like, what do you know?
Yeah. Or it could have been called, my friend the genie, you know.
Biff Bang Boom.
Right.
Could be.
Well, that's about all I got. Well, I got the one. I was going to wrap it up with this one with the Bruce Springsteen. Now, you know the iconic Born in the USA cover, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. He's got the jeans. He's got the flag behind him. He's got the white shirt. What's he have in his back pocket?
He's got the goddamn red bandana.
Oh, yeah? Would you bet your lunch money on the red bandana?
No, because I don't pay attention to it.
Well, there's your Mandela effect, kids. There it is. It is not the red bandana. He actually has a red baseball hat. Yeah. Yes. Which I did not know. I would have thought the bandana too if I had to reconstruct that. You know, once again, you picture some idiot going, I'm going to dress up as Bruce Springsteen for Halloween. And he's going to do that. He's going to put the red bandana in his back pocket. He's not going to put the red hat.
I guess it depends on how much butt you got.
Yeah.
I guess it's sort of like when you got like 2x4s sticking out the back of the station wagon, you got to put the little red flag on it.
Yeah.
So I guess if your butt's sticking out pretty far, you might need to put the red.
Yeah, I don't know. So there's the Mandela effect, kids. Oh my God, look at that.
But I didn't spend a lot of time looking at, you know, the asshole area of Bruce Springsteen on the album cover.
No, I like the album. It's fine, but it's just whatever.
So I heard that. So I'm gonna put this out there. I heard on their fucking radio in the warehouse at work they were playing "Born in the USA."
Sure.
He says in there at one point in the lyrics,
"Gonna kill a yellow man."
I'm a cool rockin' daddy in the USA. I'm a cool rockin' daddy in the USA.
Yeah?
I don't know, man.
I mean, for as smart of a wordsmith as he is, cool rockin' daddy. But maybe that was that was his slang at the time. That was that late 70s, early 80s slang that he had.
It was early 80s. It was like
slang.
83 when that shit came out.
Yeah, like he would go, hey man, we got to
No, wasn't it right around that time that he married that Patty Scialfa and I think he had his first kid?
Sure. Yeah, but that was he probably wrote that in 78, 79. When you think about it, he had that old slang, and he would do that. Like he'd be like, "Hey, we're gonna go look at," he'd call girls fillies, or he would like, "Hey, let's go look. Hey, here comes a black and white cherry top," which would be policemen. Like he'd call them cherry tops. That was just the Jersey slang of the 70s.
Wow.
So calling somebody, hey, cool rockin' daddy.
You know, to each their own, man. I mean, you know, people think the shit that I'm into is nerdy.
Well, I mean, we don't have a time zone, but I'm sure if we, if we were teenagers in the 70s, we'd probably have a different vernacular than we do now.
Speaking of that, okay, that movie, That Thing You Do. You know what I'm talking about?
Filmed in Erie.
Filmed in Erie, based here in Erie. Did they film it here?
Yeah, they filmed it right downtown.
Because right before I moved out of here, I remember seeing the ad for them looking for historical things.
Yeah, they found it.
Photos.
And that building's still there and still empty and has been empty to this day.
That Woolworths building or whatever?
Well, it looks like a Woolworths. No, they've turned it into that. But it was across the street from the police station here.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's that corner building.
Yeah.
That's the only thing down in the downtown gentrification. Nobody's touched that building.
Huh.
It's still, and I always thought that'd be a cool place for something or other. But yeah, they
Film
haven't.
studio.
Yeah.
Good place for a film studio.
Yeah, well, they haven't, that's the only empty building down in that corner. And you'd be safe, too, because you'd be right by the police station. You'd have all your cameras covered.
Unless it's going to be an Assault Precinct 13 type situation. Okay.
Yeah.
But, so the thing about that, I saw...
The Thing You Do Now, okay.
Yeah, that Thing You Do, which I love that movie.
That thing, okay, yeah, it's
That
cute.
movie makes me laugh so hard.
Yeah.
I love that guitar player, Lenny, Steve Zahn.
I haven't seen it in years, so I don't know.
He's like, you got to get up pretty early in the morning to pull one over on me. I'm from Erie, PA. You know, shit like that. Yeah, they do their first gig over at Mercyhurst College. You know?
Oh God!
It just makes me laugh. I love that movie. Anyway, so I saw something on YouTube or something like that. It was some old band from the *60s, and for a second I was like, is this the band they based, like the sort of look of the band? So this is a band from England. They're called the Searchers. They came out early 60s. They're apparently still around. It's literally the longest running rock band. Yeah, these guys have the Stones beat by like a couple of years.
The Searchers.
Yeah, the Searchers. And so when I was seeing these early photos, like black and white shit, like back in the early 60s days, the drummer was always wearing sunglasses. And it made me think of the Wonders or the Oneaters.
Yeah. Well, I wonder. Okay, let's.
And it was definitely a look, you know what I mean? There was a singer guitar player guy, there was a rhythm guitar player guy, and this bass player was fucking smoking it. Because remember they had the thing where they lost the bass player, joined the army, and then they got that session bass player that came?
Yeah.
Because the bass player was like, I saw this, it was a TV appearance, and the bass was like boom, doom, 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 like fucking punching on the P bass, like solid in the mix, and the guitars are doing the jang, 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 that, you know, Rickenbacker high-end jangly guitar. Oh.
Wow.
Yeah.
The Searchers.
Yeah.
Can we pause right now and put a picture of the Searchers up right now?
Yeah, I can do that. I mean,
there it is.
Our editor can do that.
Yeah. Hold on. Searchers. I'm going to search for the Searchers. But that's pretty funny. Yeah, that would be wild if it's almost like they always say, like, oh, everyone goes, oh, Black Sabbath was the originators, and then they go, oh, and then before Black Sabbath, people would go, well, it was Blue Cheer or Budgee, and you go,
oh, dude, Budgee's pretty badass.
Budgee was pretty on it way before, So you go, oh, so Budgee was the middle ground between doom rock, stoner rock, and surfer rock. It was the middle ground of it all,
Well, the thing was, they were actually doing really interesting stuff.
Yeah, Budgee was tough.
I threw Budgee in. Either I threw it in or it got thrown in, and I thumbs up it on my Pandora station, which is my like Black Sabbath.
Yeah.
Black Sabbath and the first two Dio albums. Pretty mostly. That's sort of
it's just
old
one
70s
of those bands that
jam.
fell through the cracks, and you go, okay, but if all roads lead back to that, and you go, that's pretty...
Well, Louis Novashevsky turned me onto them back before I moved out to Arizona.
Yeah.
I was hanging out with Louis, and because I was working with him down at the hardware store, and he's like, yeah, these guys, check this shit out. And you know what? It was because they had written a Crash Course in Brain Surgery.
Oh, yeah.
Metallica had covered it on
they pulled them out of the woodwork.
Yeah. But there's a couple of songs that they got on there that it's like, that's a dope song. I would like to cover that just for me.
Yeah. They were ahead of the whole surfer. They were the surfer vibe. They were the stoner rock vibe before Sabbath, before all that.
Not really, but it was also sort of like this introspectively emo shit, where like they're doing like these weird pauses and like weird little jerky phrases and just pauses and
strange.
It's very odd, but and the guy's singing really high. You know what I mean?
Yeah. It's weird.
It is, but I think it's like a 3-piece or something. Yeah.
Yeah, they were a 3-piece. So there's 2 bands for you to search out, kids: The Searchers and Budgee. And then if you're a prog rock, it hit me too. I was thinking, no, who fell through the... You ever hear that band Crack the Sky? They were an old prog band that used to be around. Like, I remember listening to Rush, and then somebody goes, instead of listening to Rush, you should listen to Crack the Sky. And they're like some Canadian instrument, some band, progressive rock metal.
Yeah, I generally don't go for that sort of stuff, but I liked the Mastodon was pretty good.
Yeah. I'm all right with it. It's fine. I mean, you're not going to get any chicks out of it. And your party's going to fall asleep if you pop it on at a party. But it's cool if you're by yourself and you got the headphones in.
I'll repeat what I just said to my cousin like an hour ago. Like, I don't really like jam bands.
No.
The jammiest I like is the old Black Sabbath stuff. It's jammy enough that it's like, when they go jammy, it's just like an interlude, like the middle 8, and then they come back to the Symptoms of the Universe riff, or Hole in the Sky or something. I dig that. I always like the hard, fast stuff. I always have.
Of course.
But that's me.
Well, we're going. We got to go. We're almost topping the scales here. We're at the 55. Well, thanks for tuning in to this Shlicketty DooCast. Like and subscribe, tell a friend, and blow your neighbors. We love you. Have a good day.
What would we do without Galaxy Blue?